Hello, everybody, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome to the second week of March tarot reading. The theme for today is the Ten of Wands. The Ten of Wands is all about responsibility. It's all about burdens, all about overcoming those external challenges and obstacles that may be in your way. Continuation from last week, all about following your calling. That may not always be a easy path to follow, but it's always worth it in the end. So let's see what this reading is going to be all about, what kind of challenges you may face, responsibilities, external forces that may try to sway you from your path. First card that came out is the Two of Cups. And let's see what comes up. Obviously, I clear my deck, I shuffle, I ask my guides to give me a reading for today's for the week. So please take what resonates with you and leave the rest for me. With me. First card that I pull is the Two of Cups, followed by the King of Coins. We have the Ten of Swords, the Six of Coins, the King of Wands, the Four of Wands, the Queen of Cups, the Three of Swords. We have the Page of Cups, the Eight of Coins, Two of Swords, Three of Cups, Knight of Cups. And lastly, we have the Sun making another appearance. And lastly, I always have these outer line cards. We have the Palace of Swords, the Knight of Swords, the Priestess, and the Five of Swords. Right. So keep in mind that the theme for today is the Ten of Wands, which is responsibilities and burdens. So let's see what comes up. So the first card that we pull, we have the Two of Cups. The Two of Cups is all about relationships. It's all about your soulmate connections. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean it is a connection to your partner, for instance, right? It can be a relationship with yourself. It can be a business partnership. It can be friendships. This week is all about relationships and how these responsibilities and these burdens may take strain, or maybe even may take place or influence our relationships, right? So it's followed by the King of Coins. So the King of Coins is all about wealth. So these relationships and these burdens and these challenges that we are faced with are going to be resolved through our relationships, through our wealth, through that connection, through that value that we see within ourselves. The King of Coins brings a lot of value, right? That's external value, it's internal value. There's a lot of wealth, and it comes from our relationships. So the relationship with ourselves, the relationship that we make along the way of our friendships, our partnerships, our business relationships, that's all going to influence it, right? Start off with the Queen of Cups. The Queen of Cups is, again, it's all about emotion. So we talk about the Two of Cups being that soulmate connection, that deep connection, right? The Queen of Coins is all about getting that emotional. It's all of the emotional emotions, right? The deep, true emotions. It's not surface level. It's not fleeting things that like come and go. It's that deep rooted emotions. It's dealing with the insecurities. It's dealing with the wealth. It's dealing with that childlike, that inner like soul, that soul retrieval, right? Getting out of the deep rooted darkness, going to the actual root of the cause, not just dealing with the anger, but dealing with what's underneath the anger, what's underneath the depression, or underneath the whatever it may be, right? But be seen as though the King of Coins comes up. It's a lot to do with our wealth. It's a lot to do with the Two of Cups, that soulmate deep connections, right? So the necessarily going back to the childlike self, right? A place in our lives where we dealt with the Ten of Swords. The Ten of Swords is all about anxiety, stress. It's things that it's in the back of our minds that constantly comes up, patterns that keep repeating itself. It's things that trigger you, right? Whatever, find things that trigger you, and those triggers are usually connected to something, and figuring out what those things are. There usually is always a root cause to it all, and it's 90% of the time goes back to our childhood, right? So find that. We have the Three of Swords that comes up as well. The Three of Swords is all about heartbreak. It's all about the thing that really does affect us the most, that's why I'm saying it's that deep-rooted cause, right? The patterns that keep repeating itself. It may seem minuscule right now. It may just seem like it's an annoyance or something that just that bugs you now because you've numbed yourself to the root cause of it. There's so many layers put on top of it that you don't necessarily know what's the true cause of it. So figuring out what that is, it's going to cause a lot of heartbreak. But dealing with that brings up the Six of Coins. So the Six of Coins is all about rediscovering your wealth, right? Finding all those lost pieces of ourselves, the lost pieces of our soul, the lost pieces of our wealth, and putting them all together again so that we can be the King of Coins again. It's all this whole reading is about rediscovering ourselves, rediscovering who we truly are by reconnecting all of those parts of our souls that got damaged and lost along the way, that we have subconsciously just forgotten about because the pain was too great for us to deal with at the time, right? Talk about responsibilities and burdens, right? These burdens, these traumas, these external forces damage our soul in a way that we would rather not deal with the pain. So we disconnect from that energy. We put layers on top of it, let it be anxiety or anger or depression, and we call it that instead of calling it what it truly is, right? Whatever that may be, the trauma, the real reason why this is there in the first place. This anger, this emotion that covers it, just acts as a bodyguard, protecting you from the pain that truly is there. Now, some people may say that, oh, you just get angry for everything. Oh, you just get these triggers, or you may even find some insecurities on these triggers. Like, why am I feeling this way about these certain things? But it actually acts as a blocker to the pain. It blocks the true reason why you're feeling that way, and it's actually protecting you. Funny enough, but just like I said, that this reading is all about burdens and responsibilities. There is a responsibility that comes up that you have a responsibility to retrieve that soul, retrieve that part of you that was lost, that was damaged, that was hurt. That you have a responsibility to face that darkness whenever you're ready. You don't have to do it immediately. Whenever you are ready, you face that darkness, retrieve that part of your soul, and you get stronger, you get more resilient, you get more of yourself back. You have a responsibility to open those doors. Whenever you are ready, you need to figure out when that time is that you open that door for yourself. The Four of Wands comes up. That emotion, whatever it may be, that trigger, that thing that keeps triggering you, that brings up that emotion, and let it be, let's call it anger in the situation. That is basically the closed door, blocking you from retrieving that part of yourself. And you have a responsibility to open that door, to speak to the anger as if it were a person in front of you. Speak to it directly. Thank it for protecting you from the pain that was once there, once you realize what it was protecting in the first place. And once you retrieve that soul, you rename the anger into something completely different. Whatever it is that was damaged in the beginning, you rename it to whatever that may be. Example, you can rename the anger to love, self-love, wealth, for instance. This reading is all about wealth, right? Going forward, once you're ready to actually open that door and face whatever is on the other side, retrieve that part of your soul, we're met with the Page of Cups. Page of Cups is, again, it's all about emotions. There's a lot of emotions happening here. The Page of Cups is all about integrating that new form of emotion, right? You haven't had this part of your soul with you in a very long time. The last time you had that part of yourself with you is the time of the trauma, whatever that trauma is, right? So integrating that part of you back into your life is going to shift a few things, and it can shift things it will shift things for the better, but you have to get used to that because it will shift a lot of the bad things that are in your life. That's going to shift that out of the way as well. And it happens quite rapidly. And getting used to that it's not always easy to get used to that. That integration period will bring up a lot of emotions. It's going to bring out a lot of those. It's going to connect a lot of those dots every time you got triggered by the situation. It's going to connect everything, and you're going to start to understand why it is that you were feeling this way and why those triggers happened. And it brings up a lot of mental analyzation, and emotions come up, and even like physically you start to feel that emotion, that soul come in, and your nerves may feel on end, and it's quite an experience. But at the end of the day, you're going to be feeling like $1,000,000 at the end of it. The king of wands comes up. The king of wands is all about feeling that assertiveness, that confidence, that driven person, that brick wall. Nothing's going to penetrate you. You are the shield at the front of the army. There nothing. Once you retrieve that part of your soul, that whatever was triggering you in the first place will not trigger you anymore. That and anything similar to it that brought up that insecurity or that trauma will fade away. You become a completely new human being again. You become more of yourself. You become stronger for it. And what was once triggering you does not trigger you anymore, and you become a lot stronger for it. Right? You become more impenetrable. No more. Not to say that insecurity will go away as well, but you feel a lot more confident for it. It affects you a hell of a lot less. And what that brings is the seven of coins. The 7 of coins is all about sharing in that wealth, being able to appreciate that new form of yourself and share those emotions, share the lessons, share the new you with the rest of the world, right? Share the new, being able to understand who the new you is. That's what the soulmate card is all about, right? That soulmate card comes up because realizing that your true soulmate is actually yourself. All these little aspects of yourself, all these parts of your souls that have been trapped behind trauma, retrieving that and reforming the relationship that you have with yourself, sharing that with the world. The Two of Swords also comes up. Now, the Two of Swords comes up because we're not always able to see beyond this blocker, this manager, this emotion, right? And our we're always split in between two ways. Dealing with the surface level, having it be like, oh, it's an anger issue, or having it be more of a soul retrieval and going through those emotions and going past that blocker, right? We're not always ready to go down that path. That path is not always an easy one to go down because we're met with the original trauma that hurt us in the first place. And for the longest time, we deal with that surface level until we are ready. That's not to say that dealing with the surface level is a bad thing. We need to deal with the surface level enough times for us to get used to the fact that, okay, it's not actually that. We need to go deeper. But that takes time, and whenever we are ready to deal with that, we don't need to do it alone. The Three of Cups comes up. Three of Cups tells us that we don't need to deal with these things on our own. We have, of course, our angelic team, our spiritual team, our higher self. We have the universal resources with us at all times, right? We have our adult version of ourselves, the person who survived the trauma in the first place, being able to go through that darkness again, a changed person, a much stronger person, and deal with the original trauma. Fight the trauma that the younger version of yourself couldn't fight, right? Stand up on behalf of that younger version, right? But not only that, you can also get your support team that we've gained along the way. You can get your family, your friends, your partner, whatever it may be, your spiritual friends, whoever that may be, and use their support to help guide you along this path. You can even go for things like a ancestral healing session or family constellation session to help guide you if you need guidance along this path. Go to people who've done this many times before. You can get support. You don't need to do this on your own. This doesn't need to be something that you face on your own. You don't have to face the darkness on your own ever again. You can face this with an army. You can face this with a whole team behind your back supporting you along the way. And if you ever feel like you need to back out and you're not quite ready for it, at least they'll be there to support you. They can hold your hand and embrace that and help you through that process. But gaining that spiritual team is going to make you feel like you can charge ahead with no worry about getting hurt. it's like embracing the King of Wands from the get-go, having an entire team behind your back supporting you, making you feel that strength, telling you that you're able to do this and help you face this darkness no longer on your own. It's going to make you feel like $1,000,000. It's going to make you want to charge forward. It's going to make you feel super ready. But of course, you first need to get there in the first place, right? And regaining that soul, retrieving that soul will bring up the sun again. It's that childlike energy. It's that childlike behavior. It's joy. It's light. It's fun. It's happiness. It's love. It's everything you need. It's everything everyone needs. Retrieving a part of your soul and becoming more like yourself, becoming more you than you thought you already were. If there's no other feeling, there's no better feeling in the world than that. And I speak from experience when I say that. I've done many soul retrievals in the past, and there's most likely many more that I still need to go through. I'm nowhere near finished. But every time you do one of those soul retrievals, it is an amazing feeling. So we have the external cards as well. The Palace of Swords. The Palace of Swords represents that safe place for our mind, right? To analyze all of these things when we have this anxiety or the stress or these burdens come up for us, and when we're met with a situation where we cannot necessarily figure out what's the best path for us, to have that safe place to just split it up, to take things one at a time, to find that safe place, slow everything down, focus on each and every little thing. Don't just look at the surface level, but go deeper than that. That palace of swords helps us do that. It's a safe haven for us to help analyze these situations. We have the Knight of Swords. Just with the Knight of Cups charges forwards emotionally. The Knight of Swords charges forward mentally. Having a strong mind and a strong heart to help deal with the chaos that you're about to endure, the darkness, the trauma, re-experience the trauma so that you can retrieve that soul that was once lost. Right? We have the Five of Swords. The Five of Swords represents scattered pieces. It represents the scattered parts of ourselves, the scattered parts of our minds, the places our minds go to when dealing with situations like this. Like, we can feel quite scattered and not necessarily know how to think, not necessarily know what path to follow, right? And finally, we have the Priestess. The Priestess is all about internal knowledge. It's all about external knowledge. It's all about spiritual knowledge. It's knowledge as a whole. It's spiritual balance, and the only way that we retrieve that is by retrieving those parts of ourselves, those parts of our soul, and that is what, once integrated, gives us that energy. The Priestess is also the Priestess has the knowledge, but doesn't necessarily need to share any of it. So that's why I say, like, you don't need to do any of this alone. You can do it on your own, though. Going through these things, you can go to somebody who knows what they're doing, who has done many soul retrievals in the past, and that experience that you gain, that integration that you get from having that soul being integrated into yourself once more, it gives you so much more spiritual knowledge. It gives you so much more insight into who you are, and that is what that knowledge that you gain from the Priestess. It's all about having. It's a different kind of knowledge. It's not knowledge that you learn from a book. The soul knowledge is, it's difficult to explain if you haven't experienced it before. It's insight into who you are, knowing who you are, truly knowing who you are by integrating these parts of yourselves into your adult self, and you're becoming more of yourself. Right. So, at the end of all of my readings, I like to pull out all of the major arcana, which are the major life lessons that we can take from this reading, which there doesn't seem to be a lot. There's actually only 2. That is incredible. I'm going to keep out our theme for today. So, just as a reminder, the theme for this reading was all about the 10 of Wands. It was all about the burdens, the responsibilities, the weight, the external weight that's been put on our shoulders, that we need to deal with, the challenges that we need to overcome. Right. So, the first major arcana that comes up is the sun. So we spoke about in this reading that we spoke about how to deal with these external forces, these external triggers, trigger something within ourselves that 9 times out of 10 links back to a trauma, and figuring out what that trauma is. Being able to face that trauma head on and retrieve the part of our soul that was lost during the traumatic event. Retrieving that part of ourselves 9 times out of 10 usually goes back as far back as childhood, but it can be a week or two ago. It doesn't have to go back that far. You go to the original cause. Retrieving that part of ourselves gives us the energy of the sun. It brings that joy, it brings that love, it brings that energetical love and energy and knowledge, that insight into who we are, becoming more of ourselves. That is what the soul retrieval is all about. And finally, we have the priestess. The priestess is all about that integration period. It's finding that knowledge, that insight, that spiritual balance once more. And we can only retrieve that spiritual balance once we have integrated these parts of our souls back into ourselves. It's going to take a bit of time to adjust to this new part of you, to integrate into your true self. But once you're able to do that, you find that spiritual balance, and nothing will be able to stop you moving forward. So if any of that resonated with you, please consider giving this video a like, subscribe to my channel for more videos to come, and I will see you next week for the 3rd week of March tarot reading.